Hello, folks, and welcome back to True Crime Phenomenon. Today, I just wanted to give an update on what's going on in the Scott Peterson case. Now, he's going through litigation right now in order to get another trial. So, we're kind of going through the motions at the moment. There was a juror. If you go back to my old videos, done a couple weeks ago, I've done 7 videos on Scott Peterson's case, stealth jurors, new evidence, so on and so forth. Well, one of the points of contention was that the jurors were not unbiased. Now, there's claims that there's this biased juror named Rachel Neese. Now, if you know anything about this case, the jury foreman was removed after being bullied by juror number 6. Now, Rachel Neese had not disclosed certain things on her juror questionnaire, and she was an alternate. Well, she got moved into the jury once they removed juror number 1, which was the foreman, right? And this guy was leaning towards not guilty. So I'm going to be playing some more videos, kind of going through, showing you just some breaking news stuff, kind of what they're talking about in the courtroom. Apparently, she wrote several letters to Scott Peterson while he was in prison, and asking why Scott did it. And Scott wrote back and said, "Look, I didn't kill my wife. I did not kill my wife or my unborn son." And she wrote several letters to him on death row, which is highly inappropriate in my opinion. And just goes to the fact that she's just not a credible juror. You can't have these biases going in. You have to be able to remain objective. And that's part of what they're arguing here. So we'll read the first couple of paragraphs and some other helpful information in the article. Sacramento, California, Associated Press, convicted killer Scott Peterson's chance for a new trial in the murders of his pregnant wife and unborn son 20 years ago hinges on whether a California juror who had helped send him to prison in 2004 amid worldwide publicity was biased because she was a domestic violence victim. Now, if you remember back in my videos, the first thing she said when she comes in is she comes in on a Thursday evening, and by Friday morning, they've convicted Scott of murder. First thing she says, "Okay, let's do a vote for guilty. Let's finish this real quick." And this is something the jurors talk about, not something that she says. Obviously, she says, "Oh, I'm completely objective and." I wasn't biased and so on and so forth, but I don't believe it for a second. She was in the audience crying and just crazy. So though she is identified in court documents only as juror number 7, Rochelle Nice used her name when she co-authored a book about the case with 6 other jurors. Now, see, that's a problem for me. They had book deals coming out of the jury. Now, as long as they maintained exactly what the media wanted, right? Because these book deals, I guarantee you, if they were pro-defense or if they had, say, let Scott off, found him not guilty, there was just absolutely no way that they would have gotten a book deal. No way, it wouldn't have happened. I mean, I'd have to look this up, but I guarantee you, Casey Anthony jurors didn't get a book deal. They didn't go along with the narrative. And anytime you shake the narrative, there's going to be consequences. Anyway, so she's expected to testify. During the trial, her dyed hair made her recognizable and earned her the nickname Strawberry Shortcake. So she had this dyed red hair, tattoos, and stuff like that. And, especially at this time, tattoos were not as prevalent as they are today, right? So, if a person has a tattoo today, it's more of a kind of a fashion sense. Back then, not wholly, but back then, for the most part, it was gangs and people had military tattoos and stuff like that. It wasn't. You didn't see a whole lot of people with tattoos that were upstanding citizens. There were, obviously, but that changed in the early to late 2000s, 2010s, around that time frame, 2000, 2010. People started getting tattoos, and it kind of changed culturally. But back then, when this happened, she was kind of looked down upon for her tattoos. Okay. So strawberry shortcake, because she had that dyed red hair. Now, Nice failed to disclose during jury selection that she sought a restraining order while pregnant in 2000, saying she really fears for her unborn child because of the threats from her boyfriend's ex-girlfriend. She also failed to disclose that her boyfriend beat her in 2001 while she was pregnant with another child. Now, you can see why this might be a problem because, Lacey was 8 months pregnant, and if you know anything about the maternal nature of women, especially that have gone through a trauma like this, it's hard to remain objective. It's hard for me as a father to remain objective, looking at the case. I mean, I got to be honest, for years, I thought Scott was guilty. And then I started going through the evidence, and at the very least, he's judicially not guilty because the evidence just does not say what the prosecution says it does. The evidence says something completely different. And that's where I think the problem therein lies, is when you start mixing feelings into facts. And if they would have actually investigated the burglars across the street, we'd probably be sitting in a different opinion today, right? It took me 20 years to come to a different opinion, but at least I had the guts to, not patting myself on the back here, but this isn't a popular opinion, I guess is what I'm saying. And I know it's not a popular opinion, and people aren't going to like what I'm saying, but it's the truth. And the truth supersedes my feelings. Having 2 children myself, it bothers me to see that a man would hurt his children or his wife. It's a terrible thing. And I think anybody would agree with that. And it's hard not to be emotional about that as a parent. So, yeah, Lacey Peterson, she was 27, was killed when she was 8 months pregnant with a son, whom the Petersons planned to name Connor. Investigators say that on Christmas Eve 2002, Scott Peterson dumped his body's wife from a fishing boat into the San Francisco Bay. Now, if you go back and watch my videos, you'll see that there's lots of evidence showing that Lacey was still alive after Scott was already at the bay. Now, if you actually take into account these witnesses, then Scott's innocent. And there's 11, if not more. There may be more. 11 that I've been able to document, let's put it that way, and not including the postal worker who didn't see Mackenzie, their dog, barking at the gate, which normally happened every single day. And so if you go back to my evidence video, you'll see the timeline laid out. You'll see everything. And, I may just do another evidence video just to recap on everything that I've discovered so far. I've been planning on doing a video on juror number 6 as well as Rochelle Neese, just because they're so out there. Juror number 4 as well. I mean, these people, are coming out of the courtroom talking about book deals, smiling. I mean, I don't think they fully grasp the implication of what they're doing here. So it's something that really, really bothers me. It leaves just a sick taste in my mouth. And I think it's something that at least merits a retrial. At the very least, another jury needs to take a look at this evidence. So I think if they do objectively, they're going to look at it and going to see, wow, this is not what I thought. And this is just the stuff that I know. I mean, there might be a bunch more stuff that the defense has that I don't know. Now, I've gotten most of the defense evidence, but there could be some stuff that was filed that I just didn't see, didn't catch, what have you. But anyways, that's my feelings there. We're going to go ahead and move on to some other stuff now. Okay, so here is the next article. And this one says, former jury in Scott Peterson's trial, Rachel Nice, returned to the stand Monday to again defend her actions during jury selection in the years following Scott Peterson's highly publicized trial. 2004, with the fate of Peterson's conviction for the murder of his wife, Lacey, and unborn son, Connor, hanging in the balance. San Mateo County Superior Court Judge Ann Christine Masulo sentenced Peterson to life in prison without parole in December after the California Supreme Court overturned his death sentence. Now she must decide if Peterson deserves a new trial due to possible juror misconduct by Nice. Now, Monday got off to a rocky start for Nice as Peterson's attorney, Pat Harris, asked her about letters she wrote to Peterson while he was on death row, and a book she co-wrote with other jurors about being on the panel and an appearance on the Dr. Oz show. On Friday, Harris slowly began cross-examining Nice on her first day of the testimony, asking if the statements she made on her jury questionnaire were truthful and accurate. Then he focused on the crucial question, which asked, "Have you ever been a victim of a crime?" Nice answered no in 2005. Nice admitted that she failed to disclose that she had obtained a restraining order in 2001 against her then boyfriend's ex-girlfriend for harassing and threatening her. At the time, she was pregnant with her second child. She also described for Harris a fight she had with her ex-boyfriend that resulted in her arrest. This was also not disclosed to the court. She told the court that she did not disclose the two incidents because she did not consider herself a victim of a crime, as the alleged stalker did not threaten her unborn baby. She also admitted to hitting her boyfriend and not the other way around. So, I don't think she can be trusted, in her allegations made before. She said that she feared for the safety of her unborn child. And now she's saying that she didn't fear for the safety of her unborn child. So which is it? Did she lie on a court document there, or is she lying on the stand now? That's the problem, right? She wasn't going to deliberately hurt my child. But if we fought and rolled around like mannequins on the floor, I was afraid I'd lose my child by doing something stupid like that, Nice testified. Later that day, Harris referred to letters Nice wrote to Peterson once he was in jail, asking if she had brought up the name Little Man in correspondence. "I'm sure he does, because I asked him why," Nice replied. She also told the court that she had no anger towards Peterson before the trial. "Before the trial, I had no anger or resentment towards Scott," she testified. "After the trial, it was kind of true because I attended the trial and listened to the evidence." Now, anybody with a understanding of what happened at the trial would be angry at Scott. I understand that, but hers went beyond anger. She wanted to make sure that he was killed, and it's very clear in her testimony to the press after the trial. Comes out and she's so bombastic and over the top. I mean, this person is just not at all any type of objective juror. Okay. After his appearance, Nice refused to answer questions from reporters. Prosecution and defense attorneys also decided not to speak to the media afterwards. All right, things are going well for the defense today, Clark said. I think it's going exactly the way the defense wants it to. Then they'll bring in Mark Garagos, which was his attorney, and Mark Garagos believed that Rochelle and as well as other juries snuck on the jury by lying on their questionnaires, as well as lying about how they felt about the case and all the things they knew about the case. So then they'll bring in Mark Garagos and other members of the defense team to say, "We would never have named her to the jury. It was at the heart of our case. This goes straight to the heart of what we were concerned about when we selected a jury," which is true. I mean, you would not want a juror sat that had any type of domestic violence, restraining orders against somebody that wanted to hurt their baby. I mean, come on, that's the last person you would sit on a jury. So I'm going to be splicing in some more clips here. Just really appreciate all of the support. I've got a bunch of new subscribers, and I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. I just started a Patreon account, so if anybody wants to support me there, just look me up under True Crime Phenomenon. Essentially, what I'm doing is trying to raise money to pay for the Freedom of Information Act documents. So I want to start requesting documents so we can start reading the actual evidence here on the channel. And it gets expensive. Now, I'm going to start paying for these out of my own pocket. So, we can get a little bit better detailed evidence here, but I would really, really appreciate the support. If you have any questions, comments, please like, share, subscribe, and I'll be adding some more clips here for you to review, okay? And thank you all so much from the bottom of my heart. Once again, I appreciate each and every one of you, even the haters. Even when you've got something negative to say, I don't delete comments. I believe in freedom of expression. So if you don't agree with something I say, I will not delete that. I will not block you from commenting on my channel. You can say whatever you want about me and about the content that I provide, but just please be respectful to others. That's all I ask. Other than that, like I said, thank you again for everything. Appreciate each and every one of my subscribers, and have a wonderful day. Talk to you all soon.
Ramirez reports she's the star witness in a hearing that could decide if Scott Peterson gets a new trial.
Rochelle Nice testified before a judge that she believes she was being truthful and honest when filling out her jury questionnaire in the Scott Peterson case, including one of the main incidents in question. Although she once took out a restraining order against her ex-boyfriend's new girlfriend during a pregnancy, she didn't consider what happened to her a crime or herself a victim.
Clearly, what she's thinking is in her life, which, let's get real, is a little more rough and tumble than some of ours, maybe. In her life, that was not something she would consider being a victim.
Nice went through a tough day of questioning by Peterson's attorney, Pat Harris. Harris is trying to convince the judge that Nice lied on her jury questionnaire, that she could have been a pro-prosecution stealth juror, and that could be enough to give Peterson a new trial. But former prosecutor and legal analyst Michelle Hagan says it's an uphill battle for Peterson's case.
There are Supreme Court cases, California Supreme Court cases, that say even if a juror doesn't disclose that they were a victim and they were asked, on the juror questionnaire, that's not enough to amount to bias to throw out a conviction.
Other witnesses this week could include Peterson's former lead defense attorney, Mark Garagos, who's expected to say that he was misled by Nice during jury selection. In Redwood City, Len Ramirez, KPIX5.
Rochelle Nice was also asked about 17 handwritten letters that she wrote to Peterson on death row nearly 2 decades ago. She admitted to writing them, but wasn't biased against him.
Rochelle Nice spoke with the Modesto Bee in front of the courthouse in Redwood City, where she and 11 other jurors convicted Scott Peterson of double murder 13 years ago. His appeal says he deserves a new trial because she had been threatened when she was pregnant 3 years before the 2004 trial, and the appeal claims she wanted to punish Scott Peterson.
It's devastating for me. It's sickening to me. And it's hard because other than you, I haven't been able to get my story out there. People are going off of secondhand information. They're not actually coming to me to find out the real story of what happened with me. Is anybody taking into consideration how that would make Sharon feel? Having to go through that again for an actual lie. Scott's appeal lawyers are making up this story. The story is not accurate. Everybody's reporting I was Scott's pen pal. I was never his pen pal. I wrote him because during the trial we never heard from Scott. I wanted to hear from Scott, and my questions to him was why? Why did he do this? There was no friendship. There was no pen pal that I expect that he would confess. No. But I wanted to hear from him. Did I say some things after the trial that people are upset with? Yeah, I was pissed off at that point. He murdered his wife, an unborn child. He never gave Connor a chance at life, ever. He could have easily left and walked away. Lacey would have been just fine being a single mom. The trial, it took a toll on me. It made me, here's a man that probably told Lacey he loved her every day, told her she was beautiful, and all the while, he was planning to kill her. So that made me trust people less. Um, how somebody can be so deceiving. I mean, even the family members, everybody thought that they were this perfect couple. And deep down inside, he was a monster. What I really want people most to know, and mostly I want the prosecution to know, I want Lacey's family to know, and I want my fellow jurors to know that I did not lie to get on this trial to fry Scott. I did not. That was not my intentions. I don't regret putting him where he's at, but I do hate the fact that I was on that trial and what it did to me and what it's still doing to me. Um, and I would never in my life, ever do it again.
I think the appeals is 21 years average in California or longer. And as hard as it was 3 years ago to make our two decisions, if and when, and if I'm still alive at the time, and Scott does receive his penalty, I'm going to feel probably just as bad or maybe even worse than I did 3 years ago. I mean, that's going to be hard for me to take because I know I had a piece of this decision, and if I'm here, I'll deal with it at that time. But that's going to be a hard time for me.
I feel bad because, like I've said, it's a loss of another life that didn't have to be lost. Lacey and Connor could have been fine by themselves. Scott could have had his lovely life by himself, and everyone would have been happy. So um, that's my piece to it.
Rochelle,
And
would you attend the
I was
execution?
just about to say that if I could, yeah, I would. I would.
I don't believe in the execution. I don't believe in it. But you do what you have to do. And in this particular case, it was done based on the evidence that was presented. That's all we could go by, and that's what we did. I feel very comfortable with my decision. I have no regrets about the decision that was made. Can I live with it? Yes, I can. And that's what I'm doing with now.
If I live that long and if they gets the day that Scott is executed, I don't know what I'll do. Some days I think I'll be there just to bring closure. Some days I wouldn't want to be there. Um, I don't know. If I'm mad at him that day, like sometimes I am angry with him, I'll not only be there, I'll help him. But the normal thing, if it's a normal day, I mean, it's a sad situation, and I mean, it didn't have to be this way. So I don't know. That's so far down the line. The one thing is just like Ferry said. I know that we did the right thing. I know that we fulfilled the obligation of our duty, and that in doing that, we did it the right way for the right reasons. And so I'm at peace with it. I didn't put him there. He put himself there. And, I'm sorry you did that, Scott. I'm sorry you did that, but you did it. And I can't change it. God forgive you.
If it happens, say 15 years, 10, 15 years later, I think for me it'll be closure finally, knowing that there's no more appellate issues. that our decision was granted, and that that's the price you pay for the most ultimate betrayal, and that's killing your own wife, who you're supposed to be there to protect, and your newborn son. So I think, yes, death. I wouldn't be sad. I just know it would be closure for me, knowing that it's been done, and that crimes like this shouldn't be permitted with life in prison. That death penalty needs to be withheld or upheld. Excuse me.
Personally, I don't believe that it's going to come to pass. The last person who was executed in California was Tukey Williams 2 years ago on December 13th, the anniversary again today. And in February the following year, Mr. Morales stopped his execution in February, and there have been no executions since. And there is a lot of controversy on cruel and unusual punishment, and it seems that this is going further state from state. So I really do believe in my heart that by the time Scott's appeals are done and the time has passed and it's his execution time, that within that amount of time, the death penalty in California will again be abolished as it was before, and he will turn into another Charles Manson and just be in jail for the rest of his life. As far as if it should come to pass and being at his execution, I would not. I am indifferent to the man. I don't care. I don't hate him at all. I am indifferent. He means nothing to me. I have done my job. I have made my decision. I don't need to put another nail in my heart or bring myself more pain to go and watch his mother watch him die, or anyone else for that matter. That is not my part in this.